It's almost time to buy your MLS teams, but who should you be targeting? I've got a goalkeeper, 2 stars, 2 guys coming off of injury, and 2 young players for you guys to buy over the next offseason. Welcome into another video on the channel. This is Chris, the MLS card guy, and today we are bringing you our top picks for your targets over the next couple of weeks here. If you are looking to buy and hold a team, I'm going to give you a few players that you can look out for at a decent price that will definitely pay benefits over the course of next season. So, without any ado, we're going to get straight into it here. First up, we have our goalkeeper, Brad Stuver. So you can see right here, I do own a copy of Brad Stuver. Austin's starting goalkeeper has been fairly solid this season. Really one of the few bright spots for Austin. He is a fan favorite, a cult hero down there. Can't imagine that they'd be replacing him. He's only 30 years old, so still probably got a couple more years left. Going for 0.18 right now. Really not a bad price, but you can actually see that his price has been even lower. So if you can get him in this 1.3 range, great. If not, 1.7 is still a steal for me to get a starting goalkeeper that you know is going to play every single day. Not really any challenges. Don't think they're going to replace him. I think Brad Stuver is the guy that you want to target as a goalkeeper. Next up, we have our first star player. So for this one, we're going to go with the midfielder. I feel like he is super undervalued for the kind of value that he provides, the kind of potential that he has. I am talking, of course, about Jamiro Monteiro of the Philadelphia Union. So we can see when we dig into the numbers here, used to be in the 0.3 range as recently as July. He has dropped all the way down to 0.1. Which 0.105 I feel like is a lovely price to get a player of his quality. And this is the kind of quality that I'm talking about right here. So you can see there's a ton of match winners up in this corner. My guy Jamiro, he provides lots of cover on defense. He also scores an assist for Philadelphia. He's involved in every part of the game. He is absolutely a solid player, only 27 years old. Can't imagine him not being a part of the team next year. Absolutely really solid player. Did have a little bit of an injury here, but other than that, he has been fantastic for Philadelphia, and his price has absolutely plummeted. So definitely want to look at getting in on Jamiro Monteiro. Our other all-star is a defender. He's actually a younger player, but for this purpose, we're going to consider him an all-star because he absolutely is. He has been fantastic all year for Atlanta United. I am talking about Mr. Miles Robinson. So we can see his price here. It's been fairly consistent, 1.6. I don't think I would pay 1.25 for him at this point. I think we can get him a little bit cheaper than that. You can see less. Sold price was 0.079, but still a very quality player. I can show you the scores here. He is uber consistent, always puts up 55. That's like his baseline at this point, and you can see he does have the potential to put up some game winners. He was out here for the Gold Cup, so no real injury concerns or anything like that. Miles Robinson, definitely one to keep an eye on. U.S. national team player, so he may even get you some of those World Cup qualification games as well. Might get you some of those off weeks. Again, wouldn't pay that 0.125, but when he drops down a little bit, I think that's going to be a nice target as well. Next, we're going to get into our injured players. So these are guys that have been hurt for the whole year, that people have kind of forgotten about, that are going to come back and make a big difference next season. They're way underpriced. They're almost guaranteed to go up in value. So definitely, if you can get your hands on them, get your hands on them. So first of all, we're going to start with a forward from Seattle. You probably know who I'm talking about. It is Jordan Morris. So he went to Swansea City, tore his ACL after like 1 or 2 games, didn't get to play at all. You can see his prices remain pretty consistently here in the 0.6 range. Couple little drops down here, but the last sale was 0.065. Again, I don't know if I'd pay 0.098 for this card yet. But he probably does end up as more than a 0.1 player. He probably ends up at least in the 0.15 range. So even if you do have to pay 0.098, I don't think that's a horrible deal. The problem with Jordan Morris is everybody who has him now has probably been holding him since he tore his ACL, so they're probably not going to want to sell unless you give them a pretty decent profit. So you're probably not going to find a good deal on Jordan Morris, but it never hurts to keep an eye on a player like this, as he can absolutely be a match runner. So you're going to see a lot of DNPs here. Obviously, he tore his ACL, but if we go back to the all, you can see what kind of player he is. He consistently is scoring and assisting. Seattle, one of the best offensive attacks in MLS, and Jordan Morris is a huge part of that attack. There are some rumors that he will also be available this season, towards the end of the season, so maybe not even just a stash until next season. You may even get a little bit of utility out of him this year, potentially in the MLS Cup playoffs. Next up, we have another guy who is a full U.S. national team member, another guy who's been hurt the whole season, another guy that could potentially be a match winner in your lineup. However, he does have some pretty good deals right now. I would jump all over this bandwagon right now. I am talking about Mr. Aaron Long of the New York Red Bulls. I hate the New York Red Bulls, but Aaron Long is an absolute machine in the back. He also does score goals for them as well, so he has some match-winning potential. We can see that his price has been criminally low the entire season. We are not expecting him back until the beginning of next season. However, when he does return to New York, he will guaranteed be worth more than 0.025. He will be a absolutely solid defender for you. So just taking a look here at all of his scores, you can see again what I'm talking about with the goals, right? For a defender, he has some goals in him off of corners and free kicks. He is an absolute menace. And also, you can see that he is very consistent at hitting these high marks. Now, it does have some lower marks here as well. So not the best defender probably in the league, but right up there in the upper echelon as far as potential for winning a match. I would definitely recommend Aaron Long, especially at this price of 0.025. You aren't going to find too many defenders at that price who have his kind of game-breaking potential. So if you're someone on a budget that just wants to grab someone, throw him away till next year, and then make some nice money, I think Aaron Long is your guy. Next, we're going to transition into our younger players with a younger player that I think is going to have a breakout season next season. But he was also hurt for most of the season. That's why I don't think he broke out. I think a lot of us kind of expected him to break out this season, but never really got the opportunity to. Now he is hurt for the year. However, I think a great job would be to pick up Ayo Akinola. So you can see his price here has dipped a lot since you can see the injury. Since the injury, he's been pretty consistently going for below 0.05. I definitely wouldn't pay 0.07 for him. If you can get him in this 0.03, 0.04 range, that would, I think, be the play. Again, a guy that I think has breakout potential. He's shown already in this league that he can score goals. Now we just need to see it a little bit more consistently from him. If you get a 22-year-old forward that scores goals consistently, they're definitely going to be above 0.04, 0.05. I mean, even if he just starts every game, he's going to be above 0.04, 0.05. So, Ayo Akinola, definitely one to watch for next year as far as a breakout player at the forward position. And finally, our last player, another breakout player that I think has had an okay season this year. He's been productive. He started every game, but I think next year he could really be that breakout player that we're looking for. He has great stats. He's starting to drop in price. He's getting into that buying range. And now it's just a question of will he get all the way down to that buying range. And the guy that I'm talking about here, another Philadelphia midfielder, Leon Flach, the 20-year-old from Philadelphia, came up in Germany, was trained in Germany, and Philadelphia bought him, I think, from St. Pauli for $300,000. Really good deal for them. He looks to be a pretty good player. Definitely a youngster. Got a couple more years of U23 eligibility. If he can develop a little bit more into that every couple games scoring a goal, getting a few more tackles, he'll be really a great value. So like, if you can get him down in this area, 0.024, 0.025, I love that. 0.052, not so much sold on that one. But in this range right here, like 0.035, I think is okay. I would like to see him a little bit lower than that, but you can see that he is a solid player. He does have a little bit of good potential, but he's just consistently solid every single game. Comes out and does his job. He's starting to put together some nice little runs right here. That's 3 of the last 4 games have been very, very solid. So you definitely like to see that. We just like to see him get a little more aggressive offensively, maybe put up a goal or an assist every once in a while, and he could be a real monster for Philadelphia. So another great Philadelphia midfielder to keep an eye on for 2022. For you guys that stuck it out all the way till the end, I actually have a special bonus player for you. This is a youngster who has kind of broken out, but I don't think he's getting as much respect as he deserves. This is a guy from my hometown team, which I follow every single game, and this kid is an absolute superstar. The comparison that comes to my mind is Alphonso Davies. I haven't seen anybody anywhere near as dynamic as him in MLS since Alphonso Davies, and the guy that I am talking about is Kevin Paredes. Now, Kevin is a little bit, he's a little bit expensive for being a guy that hasn't delivered huge numbers yet, but you can see his potential here. He is absolutely a steal in the making, so make sure that you keep an eye on him for the future. I appreciate you guys watching the video. Until the next time, Vamos United.